Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down the phenomenal animation titled Tithes, Episode 1, Sacrifice from Warhammer TV. It has great themes, great lore, great details, and fluid and well-designed action sequences that are a joy to watch. If you want to watch the original without lore, go to Warhammer TV, link down in the description, and become a subscriber there. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our animation breakdowns and our real-life bolter video. Our episode starts with our favorite salamander from the Pariah Nexus series, Brother Sakan, accompanying an ultramarine apothecary to retrieve the fallen of their respective chapters. They trade philosophical and historical jabs as they make their way into enemy territory. If you're like me, you're busy. Life is hectic, and when you're hungry, there's two options. Spend 20 minutes making yourself a meal while your stomach rumbles, or spend way too much money on way too unhealthy a food. Eliminate that problem with Factor 75. They take the stress, time, and dietary anxiety out of the game by having delicious, ready-to-eat, fresh, never-frozen, nutritious meals with ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccoli, and asparagus. Meals are ready to eat in 2 minutes, and for variety, you can choose 4 to 18 meals a week from a menu of up to 35 options. If your schedule changes, you can modify, pause, or reschedule your deliveries anytime. There's easy categories to help you choose, like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, and Veggie. You can get add-ons like breakfast, on the go, snacks, and drinks to keep you running all day. Factor 75 takes the guesswork out of grocery shopping, eliminates meal prep, and cleanup is as easy as throwing away your dish. It just doesn't get any easier than that. Stop wasting money on takeout today. Get 50% of your first Factor box and 20% off of your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone.
They tithe nothing.
Of course they do. They tithe their most valuable resource. Us. The men we will never be. Our humanity offered up on the anvil of war.
Regret is a sin in the litanies of hate.
I regret nothing. I merely acknowledge what we lost. And if the tales are true, what they lost as well.
You are too human, Sakan. Your chapter, as honorable as it is riven by this weakness.
Circling around to the west. I did not abandon you, Brutus.
Many are the tales that tell of the salamander's lack of zeal. I never believed them, but I ask myself if I am witnessing it with my own eyes now.
I have watched entire worlds ignite. I have breathed in the char of incinerated cities and known, I am inhaling the ash of those I failed to save. The proof of my honor is in the wounds taken and scars earned. And still, I fight. I know the necessity of your mission, and I will fight alongside you to secure your brother's legacy. But do not question my zeal again, Ultramarine.
You have my chapter's gratitude, and my apology.
Forgiven and forgotten.
If you want more dialogue between Brother Sakan and Apothecarion Brutus, you need to go to Warhammer TV, but it is thematically interesting and lore-rich. As the Marines make their way into enemy-occupied territory, Apothecarion Brutus crushes the skull of a fallen Necron warrior, prompting it to teleport back to its resurrection chambers. Part of the danger of Necrons is the resilience to damage of their metallic bodies, but also the fact that if destroyed and in range of their tomb, they will be whisked off the battlefield to return anew. This kill prompts a philosophical conversation on the nature of hatred, sacrifice, empathy, sympathy, and regret. Apothecarion Brutus comments on hatred driving the Necron race being a virtue that makes them worthy foes. Brother Sakan mentions that a salamander lore master, an esteemed brother who studies the history of the galaxy, shared that the Necrons were once biological beings and that it was inferred that they gave up part of themselves to become what they are now. From what we know of Necron lore, this is accurate. Necrons were once a race known as the Necron tier and were some of the first sapient creatures in the galaxy. They were cursed to exist in a solar system that was bathed in radiation and cut their lives short with horrible cancers. Even when they escaped their planet to become a multi-solar system species, the cancers followed them. They encountered the alien race known as the Old Ones, powerful, warp-sensitive creatures who were long-lived, capable of reincarnation, and who could take the physical form as they saw fit, often referred to in their physical form as slant. The Necron tier asked for aid with their cancers to give them health and immortal life, but the Old Ones refused to help, seeing the ambitions and warlike nature of the Necron tier as threats to the galaxy. Swearing vengeance, the Necron tier found the Catan, beings that fed on the energy of the universe and who hated the Old Ones. Together they formed an alliance where the Necrons gave the Catan corporeal bodies, and the Catan gave the Necron tier eternal life. This was a trick, though. The Necron tier burned away their bodies in giant furnaces in a process known as biotransference and gained immortality in their new metal forms. But in that process, they lost their souls, and for many, their sentience. It is argued that in the process of biotransference, the Necron tier died. They no longer exist and cannot be brought back. The Necrons are merely digitized consciousnesses, copied from those beings, and became effectively a new race of intelligent machines. The Necrons fought the war in heaven against the Old Ones and their creations, the Eldar and the Orc, and eventually turned on their star gods, the Catan, turning them into enslaved weapons. They slept for 60 million years to wait for the perfect opportunity to conquer the galaxy, and now they rise, an unstoppable wave of undead machines ready to make their own immortal empire. The Imperium is a dogmatic and hyper-disciplined entity, with Sakan musing on this history in the most vague fashion, earning him scorn from his Ultramarine companion. Apothecarion Brutus admonishes Sakan for thinking of the alien sacrifice, reminding him that while the Codex Astartes, a central text for Marines of sacred importance, tells Marines to know their enemy, it also states that empathy is a sword's edge away from sympathy, and sympathy is the path to treachery. Sakan seems to embrace the truth that musing on sacrifice does not lead him to be any less loyal, or to regret his fate, or the sacrificial demands of the Imperium. He can lament the loss of the men Brutus and Sakan would have been had they not been Marines, while still knowing in his bones that these are the sacrifices required for humanity to survive. The pair split to clear a chamber, and as if to punctuate how correct Sakan's assessment is, a diabolical threat emerges. A Scorpec destroyer, a digital disease-infected Necron obsessed with killing, emerges and tries to take off Brutus's head. This is followed up by some attempts to impale him with his hyperphase blades. The Scorpec's blade jumps between multiple realities at every moment, and this allows them to cleave even Space Marine ceramite armor with ease. The Apothecary shows his valor and surprising agility, dodging attacks, using his Absolver bolt pistol to gain distance before sliding under a slash to take out one of the destroyer's limbs. This is followed with Brutus impaling the destroyer from behind and ripping his head clean off. The destroyer teleports away, promising that the threat persists. Absolver bolt pistols, often given to chaplains and apothecaries, give Marines the ability to defend themselves in combat or deliver final rites to a suffering and mortally wounded Marine. The ambush leads to an argument between the Marines. Apothecary Brutus is unsettled by Brother Sakan's humanity, his fascination with the enemy, and his inability to reach Brutus during the attack. The lack of zeal the Salamanders have been criticized for in the past is not cowardice, but a question of priority. Salamanders are primarily recruited from their home planet of Nocturne. It is a volcanic death world covered in ash, prone to earthquakes and eruptions caused by an oversized moon. The people there are hardy, tough, and used to trial. Salamanders, almost unique in culture, keep a close relationship with their civilian population. When not on campaign, Marines are tribal and city leaders and keep contact with the families they had before becoming Marines. This connection makes them more sympathetic to the civilians of the Imperium, and they are known to sell their lives in their defense. An example of this conflicting priority happens in the book and phenomenal animation Hell's Reach, a series I also break down on this channel. In Hell's Reach, the Black Templars, a chapter descended from the Imperial Fist, wish to counterattack an Orc onslaught in order to kill the Orc chieftain. They call on allied salamanders to press the attack so they could inflict maximum casualties on the Orc horde. The salamanders not only stay in place, but actually retreat to defensive positions in order to protect hundreds of civilians cowering in a dock structure. This baffles and infuriates the Black Templar leader, Reclusiarch Grimaldus, who views it as a form of cowardice to sacrifice martial efficiency for a few hundred mortals. Sakan is just like his brothers in Hell's Reach, losing his arm protecting civilians in the Pariah Nexus series. This stands in stark contrast to the cold efficiency of the Ultramarines. They hail from the 500 worlds of Macragge, the most stable, settled, and civilized domain of the Imperium. It has had its many tragedies, but what holds it together are the Ultramarines and their auxiliaries. Each Ultramarine is a professional warrior, diplomat, and logistician dedicated to the mastery of all they touch. They share much in culture and aesthetic with the ancient Roman Empire of Terra, and are used to making the hard choices required to keep the Imperium alive another day. Brutus apologizes, not because he didn't mean what he said, but because Sakan's valor is obvious. Brother Sakan is missing an arm from his previous mission in the Pariah Nexus series, but uncomplainingly accompanies the apothecary into enemy territory. Sakan also sports the skull of a Deathmark he hunted and killed, whose teleportation system was damaged, allowing him to keep the dangerous trophy. The truth is, Brutus needs Sakan to continue his mission, and Ultramarines are nothing if not diplomatic and practical. They continue their mission, looking for their fallen brothers, increasingly angry as they realize the enemy are taking them to perform foul experiments on.
Courage and honor, cousin.
Into the fires of battle, onto the anvil of war.
Our heroes find the treacherous Xenos dragging Ultramarine corpses into a labyrinth. After a short briefing, a discussion of tactics, and an ammunition distribution, they exchange chapter mottos in preparation for battle. Lysander is a famous Imperial Fist, and Bellerophon a famous Blood Angel, meaning that the tactics discussion was modeled after the battles of famed warriors. In the initial contact, Sakan provides cover fire and distraction as Brutus closes in for the melee kill. A team reload keeps both Marines in the fight as they show their speed, agility, strength, and ferociousness, for which Marines are renowned. The Marines cut down Necron warriors by the score, but the fight is close, because if any of the Gauss-Flayer beams make contact with the Marines, that armor or flesh will be broken down at the molecular level. The Astartes next make contact with Canoptic Scarabs, tiny insectoid machines that can build and destroy with equal ingenuity. Scarabs are responsible for the construction and maintenance of tomb worlds, and achieve this by breaking down matter with a particle beam into raw energy. That energy can then be transformed into any matter of their choosing, often the somber black pyramids and tombs of Necron lords. While they are not a threat individually, swarms of them can rip apart their opponents, turning screaming victims into silent architecture.
Sacrilege. 4 bodies. All beyond reawakening. Terminal sus and via trauma. I will need time. Forgive my hasty ministrations, brother.
What of these unfortunates?
With respect, Salamander, their lives and deaths are equally irrelevant. Most appear gravely wounded. We cannot save them.
Sakan to Lieutenant Vader. Sakan to Vader.
Sakan, come in. This is Black Moon. We are moving reinforcements to a last known position.
Say again. Interference. Repeat.
This is Captain Ixiom of the Ultramarine 7. Get the high ground, Sakan. Thunderhawk inbound.
Apothecary on Brutus sets about his work with the urgency required. Apothecaries are battlefield medics equipped with a narthecium, a complex device capable of dispensing coagulants, anticoagulants, combat stims, and sedatives as needed. A part of that medical suite is the reductor pistol designed to crack open Marine armor and recover gene seed. With the fallen Marines beyond saving, their military and genetic legacy can live on through their gene seed. When Astartes aspirants are first selected, they undergo grueling physical, mental, and spiritual trials. Those who pass are further screened genetically. They then undergo a series of implants to transform them into transhuman demigods of war. The gene seed is the genetic template of the Primarch from which that Marine will be descended, but also a repository of genetic memory, allowing warriors to achieve a kind of immortality. Gene seed is then used to create more organs and therefore more Marines, making battlefield recovery a critical priority. Illuminor Ceres appears via hologram to taunt Brother Sakan. The way Belisarius Cawl is the mad scientist of the Imperium, and Fabius Bile is the mad scientist of Chaos, Illuminor Ceres is the mad scientist of the Necrons. It was he who designed the biotransference furnaces that doomed his race, and where some Necrons wish to return their bodies to flesh, Illuminor Ceres is rather content with his robotic form. He has augmented himself with new sensors, legs, and limbs to enhance both his combat and scientific efficiency. He dedicates his mind to vivisecting, dissecting, and testing all living creatures that capture his interest. Ceres is looking for the steps to true immortality and godhood, a result that always seems to just elude him. In the Pariah Nexus series, it was Ceres who dispatched the Deathmark assassin whose skull now rests on Sakan's belt. Brother Sakan lost a sister-in-arms to the assassin, but hunted him down and took his head. Before the Deathmark's lights shorted out, Sakan had a conversation with Illuminor Ceres via hologram, swearing a blood oath to destroy him. Ceres has been around for eons, and is intimate with the nature of Adeptus Astartes. Attempting to capitalize on the pride Marines are so known for, he goads Sakan into fulfilling his oath by blindly teleporting into his lair. Many Marines would fall into this trap, allowing their pride and sworn oaths to excuse this reckless attempt at revenge. But it is Sakan's humanity, what Apothecary on Brutus so viciously criticized him for at the beginning of the episode, to swallow his pride, balance his loyalties in his mind, and stay true to the mission. Brutus finishes, and Sakan covers their escape and provides a small mercy to the mortal warriors via an anti-armor crack grenade. Both Marines break for the surface, but Brutus is wounded. His power pack and back were struck by a Gauss flare in the escape, and he bats away Sakan's assisting hand. The true power of the Necron Gauss flare is revealed as Brutus makes his last stand and is consumed in disintegrating green fire. Sakan completes the mission by recovering the gene seed and is saved by a timely Thunderhawk gunship recovery. Frankly, I've been waiting for a new animation since spring of this year. I'm ecstatic that Games Workshop seems to have been very busy. They have an Amazon Prime episode by the creators of Love, Death, and Robots. We also have new series announced, plural, and I'm also happy to report that Hammer and Bolter has been renewed. It's a gosh darn good time to be a fan of 40K with the upcoming release of Space Marine 2, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. If you want to support the channel for free, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for new videos, and comment for the comment gods. Your viewership alone helps me in the algorithm, and it's appreciated. If you want to take your support a bit further, please become a YouTube member or join us on patreon.com/counterpoints. Check out the other videos on the channel, support our sponsors, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until the end.